So I had to do a test for the audio just to make sure that it's okay. Hopefully the audio is okay throughout this video. But I don't know, I'm kind of just doing this as an update. Partially for myself, mostly for myself, honestly, because I made the decision to be super transparent the last couple months, and so I'm just gonna continue that, I guess. Currently in this moment, I am sober. Marijuana specifically, we're not talking about any other drugs, I got over that, but with marijuana, I'm sober right now, and I won't be for very long. I made plans to be able to do that, but I think one of the things that I'm learning or relearning is that the conscious mind and the unconscious mind are separately very powerful tools, you know, and you got to be able to get them on the same page, you know, and I don't know if I have them on the same page. I don't know, because I know what my conscious mind is thinking, and you know, you only know what you know, and I know that what my body is telling me, you know. I drank some hot tea earlier to kind of like minimize the pain, because my tummy was hurting really bad, and I don't know, the last few days my tummy has been really kind of messed up, and I don't know, part of me is like also realizing maybe it could just be psychic energy, like I could be channeling somebody, because I do readings, like, and I have quite a few people that watch my readings, you know what I mean, and I don't think about it all the time, but it is a thing when you channel energy, when you tune in and become a conduit, you pick up on things that, you know, might feel like a hindrance or might feel like, you know what I mean, but it's for the purpose of like relaying a message or whatever, you know. For example, I was like reading somebody's energy or whatever the other day, and they were talking about their deceased mother, and before I started channeling their mother or whatever, my tummy started hurting, and by the end of it they told me that their mother had Crohn's when I shared that my tummy was hurting, and you know, I put two and two, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's why I'm feeling that, you know what I mean. And I don't know, I appreciate what I do. I enjoy being able to do what I do. Don't get me fucking wrong. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can be a lot, you know. And I try to make time to, like, you know, regenerate and recuperate and all that jazz. Is that how you use that word? Recuperate? I don't know if I said that word right, but, or if I used that word right. Anyways, rejuvenate, regenerate, replenish, whatever, restore. And I don't know. Objectively, I know that I'm doing pretty well. Considering the circumstances, considering all the factors, I know that I'm doing very, very good, you know? But then there's that part of me that's, the Virgo part of me that's like, well, you could also be doing better, bitch. So what the fuck are you talking about? Don't go slacking on me, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there's that part of me that's saying that and speaking that message into my being, you know? And one thing I said earlier on live stream is that it's a lot easier said than done to do a lot of things. Like, it's so easy to say, oh, you need to stop smoking. Oh, you need to be more kind. You need to be more patient. But it's another thing to actually implement those things into your life, you know? And I already have a lot of empathy. I already have a lot of compassion, but I'm having a lot more of it, I think, for myself specifically, and for the future people that I, like, interact with, you know? Because I think a lot of people look at the outside of a situation, the outside of somebody's movements, and we try to, like, judge people based off of what we're witnessing, but you never really truly know what's going on in somebody's body, in somebody's mind, you know what I mean? Like, I have been diagnosed with, like, schizoaffective, I guess. I don't talk about my mental health diagnosis often because I don't think it's necessary to include that in the conversation, you know? And so that being said, you know what I mean? I have had symptoms, I've had traits and stuff like that. And I've also met people who were very schizophrenic, people who, like, suffered greatly from, like, delusions. I'm gonna say delusions with quotes because there's a whole lot of spiritual philosophy and understanding when it comes to mental health, and specifically schizophrenia and things like that. And so I'm not gonna, delusions, because what is reality to me might not be reality to somebody. You know what I mean? Reality is subjective. But having met these sorts of individuals, it gave me a new understanding of like people and how people operate, and like a lot of the times when people do really fucked up shit, like really evil things, like it's because of the fucking voices in their head. It's because of their mental health issues, and I think our healthcare system is kind of flawed because it only looks at things from one angle, the psychological, and I have a lot of Virgo in my chart. So as a woo-woo person, I'm also very analytical. I'm also very critical. I'm a very skeptical person. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be a huge atheist. Like, I used to be very against major religion and all that jazz. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not just like, what's the word? I can't think of the words. I'm not like, gullible. That's the word. I'm not gullible. I take time to think about things and form my opinion, And once again, I've developed an understanding, a sort of compassion for people like that, because judging from the outside, you'd think that the person was just evil, but then if you took a peek inside their brain, you'd be like, oh my fucking goodness, I don't even know how I would respond if I was experiencing this. You know what I mean? Like, people yelling inside of your head, threatening you, telling you, you know what I mean? Like, and so I guess that's a message about compassion and understanding. Like, you never know what somebody else is dealing with. And that being said, though, there's also the caveat of like, because I feel like somebody's watching who has the energy of like righteousness, you know what I mean? Of like, I'm going through a lot, but I still choose to do the right thing. And I think the flip side of that is like, knowing all that you go through and knowing the way that you make decisions. Actually, as I'm saying this, though, I'm realizing we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to others necessarily. Like, we shouldn't be like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that, so, like, I'm going to judge you for doing that. Like, I don't think that's necessarily how that should go, but then again, I don't know. So, like I said recently, and I feel like also maybe aside from the psychic energy thing that I said, like, I feel like the tummy issue, I feel like the body issues are kind of like a manifestation of me breaking through certain barriers, you know what I mean? Like, I still haven't reached my overarching financial goals, so, like, I'm still on that path, but, like, I've definitely reached certain goals, and I'm definitely doing certain things. And one thing I've learned is that, like, when you're on the path of self-improvement, when you're trying to better yourself, you will experience moments that really test you, really challenge you. You know what I mean? And it's in those moments, I was saying this on live stream, it's in those moments where you're really shown your resilience, where you're really shown your strength. It's not in the moments of peace, it's not in the moments of calm, but it's in the moments of conflict, of challenge, where you're really shown how resilient you can be, how strong you can be, And I don't know, I think life can be really tough. I also said this on live stream recently. I haven't been sharing the live streams because it's a lot to kind of download and go through, but life does not get easier. Like, we just get better at handling it, and I think for some people, they get into the habit of like, life gets hard, they adapt a little bit, but then they ease up because they think, oh, well, now it's easier, it's whatever. No, baby, no. Like, you just get stronger. It doesn't get easy, you get stronger, so like, that's something. Once again, I'm about to smoke in a little bit, and I'm just taking time to appreciate the brightness of the world before I'm like stoned again, because there's a noticeable difference. And I do appreciate being sober, but like, I'm still kind of dealing with the withdrawals and stuff like that, and it's so fucking frustrating when you're living in an environment that does not help you with that does not soothe your nervous system, that does not comfort your nervous system. And so me being conscious and me being aware of that, like, just trying to work around it and just, do my best. I don't know when this will be posted. Hopefully by the time I post this, I'll have advanced further towards my goals, you know? And I don't know, it's also weird to think about. I think the last time I was talking about money, I was thinking about the idea of me potentially being like a financial advisor or like a money advisor or something. I can't see that for me, but like I saw it, but you know what I mean? I don't know if that would really be the path for me. But I mean, I think I'm a really good communicator. I think I'm really good at teaching things, so like it could be a thing. And when I master it, when I have it under my belt, you know. But that probably won't be for a while. And I'm not trying to be impatient. I'm trying to be patient with it, patient with the process, you know. And you should be too. You should be patient with your process, because the best things in life often take time and effort, you know. So just go easy on yourself, man. It'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. I can't say for sure, but I think it can be okay, you know. So just keep your head up. It'll be okay. All right, bye.